Is yeah. Oh my god, thank you so much, Perry, for joining this live video, because this is how I would have finished this video and go rewatch the video, and I would just see that like the audio was muted. I could not hear it. Would have been a waste of time, seriously. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. This has happened to me before, and that's why some of the time I'm so scared to use the mic. But for me to make the voice audible, I do love to go with the mic, but sometimes this things just messed me up. But whatever, I was still going to do this video. So thank you everyone for joining me. I do appreciate for always coming back to watch my video. So on today's topic, we'll be talking about learn the lesson and receive the blessing. And when the lesson is not being learned, you will keep on be tested. And this was said by the Marion Golden. So I'm going to be spelling the name, so when you go, ooh, nice. So you can go watch his videos. Very, very nice and powerful. It's spelled by, I'm spelling it, if maybe I could not pronounce it very well for you to understand. It's spelled by Myron, Marion Golden. So I was listening to a sermon yesterday when he did, I think a year back. He said, it was talking about something really, and he just said this, and I loved it. I even have to write it down. And say, learn the lesson and receive the blessing. When the lesson is not being learned, you keep on be tested. Hi, thanks for joining me, everyone. You keep on be tested. So what does that mean? There is always a lesson on any situation. There's always something to learn. I've come to realize this in my life, and it's true. I've come to realize this, and I have to figure it out that it's truth. That whatever that happens in my life, there's always a lesson, and you have to learn that lesson. There's always a lesson for you to learn, so that you can collect the blessing. When I say God, when I say creator, I don't use God mostly on my video. I use my creator because he's my creator, so I call him God. I call the universe. Whatever, I don't have issues on whatever you believe on. So if you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, whatever you believe on. But the most important thing for me is that you believe on something, because there's always something higher than you. There's always something higher than me. So when I say my creator, I mean God. When I say universe, yes. So they always bring something. Things always happen. At that particular time, we think, whew, why is this thing happening? Why am I going through these difficulties? But don't forget, there is always a lesson that comes alongside with these difficulties, with this trouble, with these trials. Most of the time, during my period of transformation, my period of changing my mindset, personal development, I've always said to myself, said to my spouse, that I always learned something from any difficulties, from any trials. I always learn something. I learned something there, because there's always a lesson for me to learn. There's always something for me to realize. Maybe at that particular moment when the thing is happening, you might not learn anything, because you'll be so overclouded. Your head will be so randomly like clouded with the troubles, with the tribulation, that you don't even know if there's something there for you to learn. But when you've done with that situation, when you've passed that step, that stage of life, you tend to realize, when you reflect back, they say, oh my goodness, I learned something about that. But something happened recently, I think ending of last year, 2024. We lost someone around us that was very, very dear to us, that we loved so much. It was a friend. And I remember so vividly, I was sitting down in my couch here, and I was saying something like, I don't know, I always learned something from every trouble, from everything that happened. I always learn something. There's always something for me to learn, but this is so difficult for me to learn something from it. I just remember, like, I was saying that this is so difficult for me to learn something from, because I've not really gone deep to this stage of transformation, of losing someone that I love, like crying for the pain. And I said to myself, I was saying this loudly, and my spouse was listening. And my spouse said, I learned something. There's always something for you to learn, because I always say this word. Sometimes it's good for someone to use your word against you, so that you remind yourself who you are. You remind yourself You remind yourself who you really are. When someone use your words against you, you tend to remind yourself and bring yourself back and say, yes, this is my word and I know who I am. Then you come back to reality. I remember vividly, I was sitting there and I said, I don't know. I didn't really, I don't know. I can't learn something from this because this is a loss. It's a big loss. But when he used those words, like, when he told me those words, he said those words, I came back into reality. I came back to my mind. I came back to my head. I said, yes, this is true. There's always something to learn. So what is that thing that you have to learn? There's always something to learn. I don't know what you might be facing right now or going through. Trust me, there's always a lesson, because if you don't learn the lesson, I'll be giving you an example. If you don't learn the lesson, because the universe or your creator or whatever you believe on is trying to teach you something, it's trying to open your eyes, it's trying to make you see something, but you refuse to see that thing because you think it's a trouble. Oh my God, why am I passing through these problems? Why am I passing through these troubles? I don't want to go into scriptures. I'm not very good. I'm not a Bible scholar, but I'm going to say this. Let me use this as an example quickly. When Job was going through those trials, difficulties, hard time in the Bible, I'm not a Bible scholar. I believe in that Bible. Let me tell you, the Bible is a book of knowledge. Trust me, even if you're not a Christian, even if you're a Muslim, you don't even believe in anything, read the Bible. The Bible is a book of knowledge. Somebody said this. I have not really, understand perfectly. When somebody said this, like it sticks here. When you read the Bible, you get that guidance. When Job was going through all these tribulation, trials, and everything, you might say, "Oh, God just gave him the trouble because after this trouble, he's going to get everything that he lost back." But he gets to understand. He learned a lesson of the kind of people that is around him, the wife, the friends, the family, and everybody. Sometimes when you go through this trouble and you lost everything, you get to understand that you get to know the kind of people that you are around with. You get to know the people that are your real friends. You get to know the kind of spouse that you get married to, the people that will stand by you. But at that particular moment, trust me, I tell you this from my heart, you won't understand. But when you've gone through that part, you go through that stage of life, then you reflect back and you understand. So this is what I'm supposed to learn from that lesson. I wish this did not happen. I would have not gotten to this position or this place that I am right now. So when you don't learn the lesson, and your universe, your creator, whatever you believe on, is trying to teach you something, is trying to open your eyes for you to see something that is like standing in your front, but you refuse to see that thing. You refuse to pay deaf ear on that thing, and you continue wallowing in your trouble, in the circumstances, and refuse to learn what you're supposed to learn and move on to the next stage. Because in life, in your life, in my life, we all have stages. Thank you so much. Thank you. In life, we all have stages in our life. We all have stages that we have to move on. When you finish with this stage, you move to the next stage. But when you stay in that particular stage in life that you're supposed to be done with, maybe a year, 2 years later, you're supposed to be done with, but because you refuse to learn what you're supposed to learn and move on, you keep on be tested with the same whatever it is. So let me give you an example. For example, you might be a young lady that's getting into relationship, and you're supposed to you'll be tested, right? I don't know, maybe this might be the best example, whatever, but this is just the kind of example that I have right now that I can give you. You also understand what I'm trying to say. You get tested. You go to the first date. You get the first boyfriend or whatever, the same character. The second boyfriend, the same character, the same behavior, and maybe it might be something that you don't like, something that you don't want from your partner or your second half, but you refuse to see and learn what happened in the first relationship. Why did this happen? Was it my behavior? Was this the behavior of this person? What can I learn and move on? or accept or don't accept in my next relationship. You refuse to learn the lesson and you move to the next relationship with the same baggages, the same issue. And the same thing happened and you refuse to learn the lesson. It will keep on repeating. It will keep on happening because you refuse to sit yourself down and ask yourself. You ended the first relationship, you move on to the next relationship. The next relationship ended, you move on to the next relationship. You refuse to sit yourself down and ask yourself what's happening. Am I the issue? What's happening to me? Is there something that I have to learn from this relationship before moving on to the next relationship? Is there something that I have to learn? Is there a lesson there for me to learn before moving on to the next relationship? Well, you refuse to sit yourself and ask yourself, or is there an inner work that I have to do? Do I have to sit to know the childhood drama that have happened to me that is making me repeat whatever that I'm repeating right now in relationship? You refuse to do that. So that lesson, that you keep on being tested until you learn that lesson. There will be a time that you will be fed up and you will be done with all this. Then you will get to sit yourself down, or you get help, or you need help. You get help from therapists or whatever, and you get to explain it yourself, and you get to understand that there has always been a lesson for you to learn, but you refuse to learn the lesson and you refuse to sit yourself down and ask yourself. So that's why you keep on getting tested, but you refuse to understand the fact that when the lesson is not being learned, you keep on being tested. And when you learn the lesson at first, you get to learn the lesson, you receive the blessing, because there will definitely be a bundle of blessing attached to that lesson. When whatever thing happen, it might be loss of job. At that particular time, you feel as if everything is coming to an end. The world is coming to an end. At that particular moment, you cry, you wait. Sometimes you wait yourself. You said you have bad luck, whatever, or it's about the people that you're working for. But it might just be that the universe is trying to teach you a lesson about that job so that it can give you a better one. You won't even know because you think that job is your life. Your life depends on that job. Why would you lose that job? These things. So guys, let me say this. These things used to happen to me before when I was still growing up. Like, a lot of things used to happen and I just say, God, do you see me at all? Like, do you see me? Do you see me that, like, I serve you? I go to church. Yes, I was once a really church goer. But let's leave that aside. Do you see me? Do you see all this is happening to me? Sometimes I just get angry. With God. I don't know how. Why did I do that? I don't know. I just get angry. I get really upset with God. I don't even want to talk to God. I don't even want to go to church because I say, why would these things be happening to me when I go to church? I pray, I do these things, But I didn't know that there's always a blessing. I have to learn this lesson. And sometimes now I sit myself and I reflect back and I say, you know why these things was happening? Because there was a lesson for me to learn so that I can receive the blessing. If, for example, at that particular time when they happened, I didn't really understand this fact that there's a lesson for me to learn. But at this time now, I now realize, yes, there was a lesson for me to learn, but I didn't realize at first that there was a lesson for me to learn. But when I learned the lesson and I got to let go and surrender to the universe that, you know what, I have no power of my own. I can't do this. I'm not in control. I'll be trying to do it on my own. I'll be trying to solve these issues. I'll be trying to solve these problems. But I can't, you know what? Surrender, I learn the lesson and I move on. And I just give up and I say, you know what? I get to give up. I have to surrender so that I can move on. At that particular moment when I learned the lesson by you know what? I surrender. I believe in whatever that I believe that this is going to be fixed. And I just give up on whatever it is because I know it's going to be fixed. And I surrender everything to whatever I believe in. And the blessing came, which I didn't really realize. It's at this point of my life when I really know how to talk to my God, to the universe. I really know how to communicate. I have the best way to communicate right now. And I see things around me. When things happen around me, and I realize that everything is working out for my good. Now I realize and I know that everything is working out for my good. If it's something that I can fix, I fix them. But if it's something that I know that I can't fix, I surrender and I leave everything for the universe, and I continue saying the word, everything is working out for my good. I'm going to learn the lesson, and I'm going to receive the blessing, because I know the blessing is going to come in full fold. And the blessing alongside with this lesson is going to be in bundle. So why struggle? Why don't surrender? Learn the lesson from whatever you're passing through right now, so you don't keep getting tested, and receive the blessing in a bundle and move on to the next stage of life, because there's always a stage for us to get through in life. When a baby is born, there's always a stage. The stage of breastfeeding, the stage of solid, the stage of walking, the stage of talking. There's always a stage in our personal life. So why stay in one particular place and refuse to learn the lesson, and you keep on getting tested when there is a blessing waiting ahead of you? Just learn the lesson. Surrender, first of all, surrender to whatever you believe in, and say, you know what, I can't fix it. I can't fix the problem right now. I don't know how to fix the problem right now. I don't have the ability to fix the problem right now. I give up. I surrender to you. And I'm going to learn the lesson, whatever lesson that comes alongside with this pain or this problem. I'm going to learn the lesson, and I'm going to receive the blessing in full fold. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining me on this video. And I do really appreciate it. If you're watching this video on replay or you're joining me on this live, I appreciate it from my heart. So like I said before, this quote was said by Marion Golden. You can go search him out on YouTube. It's really powerful. And what I'll say before I leave this video is, there's always a lesson beside every problem, and there is always a bundle of blessing. When you surrender and give it up to the universe, your creator, whatever you believe on, to fix the problem, learn the lesson with that problem, and receive the bundle of blessings that comes with that problem. I don't know if everything that I've said makes sense, but I know that it makes sense to me. But please watch this video, repeat the video, and explain it to yourself to make it make sense to you. Bravo. To make it make sense to you, and so you can move to the next step or to the next level of life in your own life, whatever level that you are right now. So thank you so much. I remember your girl, and don't forget that I love you. I got you here. Please support me by subscribing, liking, and leaving me a beautiful comment, and share this video if you wish so, and watch other of my videos. See you again tomorrow. I don't really know the time. The spirit might lead in the morning, afternoon, this time, or in the evening, but see you tomorrow definitely. Bye bye, and have a wonderful, lovely evening. And don't forget that I got you, yeah.